down, master that craft, and then let the results of that, the evidence of that show. It, you're gonna get the spotlight on you for a moment or for a lifetime. But that's all gonna be based on how much you master your craft, right? The people like Stevie Wonder or the Denzel Washingtons, they've mastered their craft. The people like the Celine Dion's, uh, they've mastered their craft, and so they're always gonna be good. So master your craft. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good, but you have to do it at some point. Like, oh, there's a bamboo tree metaphor. You plant a seed for a bamboo tree. You're never gonna see it sprout until years. But you have to water it every day. And the day you stop watering it is the day it dies. But 5 years in a day it starts sprouting. Now you got a bamboo tree that's growing, but for 5 years you watered it every day. You have to look at life that way. You have to be consistent and persistent, right? You have to have an actionable plan. Have daily agendas that lead up to monthly or weekly or monthly or yearly goals, and then those yearly goals should reach up to your purpose and your life's purpose. And somewhere in there is what we call the dash, and that's the substance of life. That's the juice of life, and that's what people gravitate towards, folks. They want real things. Gravitate towards those real things. So I'm not mad that the person who the comment was, "Oh, I got something to tell you about Ellen DeGeneres." But have be 10 toes down in what it is, master your craft, and you'll hit pay dirt. Let me tell you about Ellen DeGeneres, and this is my problem with Ellen. Ellen fortified Diddy's career. She elevated Shaun Combs and put him on stage over and over again for the world to see. By nature of you doing that, Ellen, you have ushered in millions and millions of people into the Diddy ecosystem. Not only that, you've given him millions and millions of dollars by you ushering him. So I don't have a problem with that. But Ellen, you know what my problem is? When you saw Cassie being beaten up on the floor of the hotel room, you went, you zipped your lips. You made whatever excuse you did. So we need to be accountable, folks. We can't amplify someone and raise them up on a pedestal and give them all of the money and the power and the notoriety. And then when they do foul, that's not a foul ball, guys. That's a deal breaker. What he did to Cassie is a deal breaker. So Ellen should have used her same platform to put out a decree and say, folks, I made a mistake. Look, Oprah did it. Let me tell you how Oprah did it. Oprah brought a guy named James Frey onto her show. He wrote a book called A Million Little Pieces, and he lied. She made him come back on the show, and she denounced him. She had to, because she told millions of people and responsible for millions of sales. Today, Ellen could have gone on her social media and say, folks, I was wrong. I made a mistake. I didn't look deep enough into this guy, and I ushered him into your lives. And by nature of me ushering him into your lives, I ushered him into the Kardashians' lives. I ushered him into celebrities' lives. I ushered P. Diddy, Shaun Combs, Puff Daddy, Brother Derelict into all of your lives, this menace to society, and I was wrong. I want to make it right. I want to balance the scales. I made a hell of a lot of money by bringing him on my show. I have to make it right. For my conscience. For my conscience, I have to make it right. And I have to serve you like I served you for so many years. Ellen had done a lot of good. But you can't serve everybody and then turn your back and ignore what you've done in that time as well. You elevated this guy, you created increase for this guy, you turned your audience into his audience and his audience into her. So you blurred the lines, right? You blurred the lines of celebritydom. And now you let everybody know his parties were popping. You are all with it on his parties. And so now when he goes foul and he turns into a menace, and you see he's a menace, you don't speak up. That's a problem for me, Ellen. That might be karma. I'm sorry, Twitch. Is it Twitch that passed away? That took his own life? Is his name Twitch? I'm sorry, but like, you know, God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly. I don't know what's coming your way, Ellen, but I do know that you need to speak up. Your time is not come. You can running away from this, Ellen, is not the answer. It's not the answer. Step up, get on the platform, just like Jay-Z. He stepped up the last few days. He said, "No, this ain't me, bro. This ain't me, bro. You got the wrong one. Who's who? Who's who? Bring her to the file a criminal complaint." Ellen, running is not the answer. That ain't it, Ellen. We need you to speak up. Kardashian, we need you to speak up too. You elevated and amplified this guy too. And so we're not saying that you're 100% guilty, that you're responsible for all these lives, but you ushered the naive white girl of age 13. You told her, "Oh, it's okay for you to pull up on Diddy's party because we say Diddy's okay. He's good with us. He's going to be good with you. It goes to the Hamptons. He's going to be good to you. Yes, accept his drinks because you know why? He's good with us. He'll be good to you." No, all of these people, Shaun, they need to speak up and speak out and use their platforms, their social media, and they need to speak up and say, "Hey, I was wrong and I'm sorry. Let's make it right. Let's talk." And if you don't know how to make it right, ask questions. Ask questions. Use your platform to tell stories. How about that? Use your platforms to let victims tell their stories. Vet them out. Get your lawyers to vet them out, Ellen. How about that, Shaun? That's a way to do it. Balance the you went and you amplified this guy for so many years. Why don't you use your platform to tell some stories? Why don't you let Natanya Rubin tell her story? Why don't you let some of these other folks tell their story? He hung somebody off of a balcony. Have them tell their story on a platform. Have somebody write their story, write their book. I mean, there's so many ways to balance the platform, Shaun. But I think Ellen needs to, she still has a platform. Don't go running into the ether, Ellen, and think that you're not part of this. You are very much a part of this. And J-Lo, hello. J-Lo, you were there. You were there. You bought the gun in the club, J-Lo. I didn't say allegedly. J-Lo, you were there in the van, in the SUV. You were there in the club. You saw the guns popping off. You can act like you didn't see it, but we know you saw it, J-Lo. We also know you were with Diddy. You were the girlfriend of choice that night at the MTV Awards, J-Lo. J-Lo, we need you to speak up, J-Lo. Don't go hiding behind your glass house, J-Lo. It's time for you to come out and speak up, J-Lo. Hello, J-Lo, anybody home? J-Lo, come out wherever you are.
I think you broke your microphone. But anyway, what about LeBron? Does he come into this category?
No, LeBron, yes, LeBron is also culpable, don't get me wrong, but he hadn't spent his whole career amplifying Diddy. But everything is everything there's a balance. So LeBron's got platforms. His platform isn't as high as it was now, but he's got a platform. Why doesn't LeBron, you amplified his parties, LeBron. You're very famous for that. Saying his parties are popping. We see it on YouTube. It's out there. So LeBron, why not either give your stage to some victims or help some victims or help let's create, how about all of Diddy's victims have books? How about LeBron creates an entity to help Diddy's victims tell their stories. And now Diddy's victims can have their books, their children's books to talk about. It could be children's books. It could be recipe books. It could be books, memoirs. Let people tell their story and make some money from turn their lemons into lemonade, because the seed capital that LeBron puts up is mere peanuts compared to the amplification and the how it can help somebody unshoulder the pain and suffering they went through. Look, Diddy is one of the most notorious um, devils who ever touched down. He just went in plain sight. He was hurting people, just like Bill Cosby. In plain sight, he made it an excuse that it was okay to put Spanish fly in people's drinks and essay them, right? So before Diddy, it was Cosby. Now well, before Diddy, it was Cosby, Epstein, Peter Nygaard, and Weinstein. Weinstein wasn't as bad as Epstein, and Epstein and Weinstein, I don't think they were as bad as Peter Nygaard. He was horrible, taking out women's fetuses just to get he was horrible. But Diddy is probably the worst of all of them. And to the dope inside of the baby oil is menacing. It's really like, wow, that is it's wicked. It's wicked that you don't want to drink because you know that drinks can, but instead you splash baby oil on them, or you have a massage given by one of your gloved assistants. And now all of a sudden the person's feeling woozy because the oil is getting into their, that's wicked. Who thinks of that stuff? So we've yet to see it all. The courtrooms will tell it all. Have you heard any of the celebrities who may be next, or do you have any opinions about pending Diddy? Well, I have a lawsuit. I'm not letting up. It's a $5 million lawsuit. It matters not how much money it is. The point is I get to tell my story. So I filed November 3rd. I was thinking an attorney would come and pick it up. I did sign with Busby initially, but then I realized what he was doing. He was going for numbers, and he wasn't really taking care of his clients. He was sending us videos every week, kind of keeping us at bay. Oh, don't worry about it. Be strong. We got your back. Yada yada yada. Busby, look, I thank you for your service in the military. You had a great idea with letting all these people call you. I was one of the callers. You had me signed up, but then I had to pull out. I had to pull out because I realized you weren't really paying exclusive attention to your victims. And then when I did pull out, you know what I did, Shaun? I went and I filed the lawsuit on my own. I didn't realize I could do it, and I did it. And then on top of that, that's when the real justice started. The real justice was me being able to tell my story. All these people have a story to tell. But now I was able to tell my story on Good Morning America, on USA Today, on Baller Alert. All these people came out. I've been out here for years. Now they're coming out. The other celebrities and stuff like that, I think I think it's a core few that may have known that the person is possibly derubbed. Everybody doesn't know what the person took, or there's a lot of things, but that's what the government's for. They got to figure out the court cases. They have to figure out who knew and who didn't. And not for nothing, if you're able to pay and get your name out of the mix, hey, so be it. But I will not go for people miscategorizing people and shaming people and throwing people under the bus when all their career, Jay-Z's entire career, he has he has not shown us that he's the type of person that would do this to young people. He's not the type of person. He's busy, number one. Number two, he has handlers. They know his schedule. They know where he was on MTV night. That's why this is now turned upside down. Do you understand? Or right side up. Because when you get successful and you're doing everything above board, and that's all you do is go back in the house with your wife at the end of the night, which is the type of thing that we do as successful people. You don't have time to be out here in these parties doing these types of things. So you have a scheduler, you have an assistant. So everything in the dark is going to come to the light. You all will see. I have 100% faith, and I'll put my career on this, that Jay-Z's not involved with this stuff. You're just putting him together with Diddy because he's in pictures and he's at these parties. But there's levels to these parties, guys. And Jay-Z has a family. He has a whole wife at home. And she's not one. She's showing you she's not one to play with.
Are you going to be a witness in the Diddy case? You're getting asked.
Well, hey Shaun, they asked me not to say anything. They called me last week. They called me 2 weeks ago, and then we set up a Zoom last week. I was on a Zoom 2 days ago, 3 days ago with those folks. And I'm talking about the big folks. I'm talking about the criminal case. So without getting deep into it, because that's a whole nother conversation. Actually, I'm going to write. I told them, guys, I wrote a book. I'm about to write a follow-up book, including this. So you can't stop me from. And you're the government. You're the government. You're public. So they said, yeah, you're right. We can't stop you from saying it, but we're asking you not to because, we don't want you to impact the case, and we don't want, yeah. So okay, sir. So um, I'll have to reserve my comment on that. I told him I'm not agreeing to anything. The government, I am not. There's no way they can put handcuffs on me for telling you, Shaun, that they contacted me. I'm not telling you the faction of the government that contacted me. I'm not telling you what we talked about on the phone call. Them folks called, and we were on the phone for quite a while. And I'm a factor at this point. That's all I have to say on that.
Quite a few people
And
asking
that's
if
an
you.
exclusive, by the way. I never told anybody on any platform.
Thank you. Quite a few people asking if you know who's above Diddy or about secret
Nobody's above
societies.
Diddy. Nobody's above Diddy. Diddy is a reckless, rich boy behaving badly. Epstein was a reckless, rich boy behaving badly. These are grown ass men that are still living the life of a young wannabe Hugh Hefner playboy lifestyle. And because they don't know how to do it with their real wives or their real girlfriends, and some of them I believe Kim probably had I believe Kim and Diddy did some, stuff with other people, right? But as grown, willing adults, cooperative adults, okay? But in terms of harming other people, no. In terms of harming other people, I believe Mary and Diddy, I believe that, and with other people. But in terms of harming other people, no, I don't believe that. So I don't believe that those folks rightfully should be dragged into. Yes, I met Kimora. When she was with Russell, she was sweet and kind. Actually, she autographed my books. We were giving them out at a BET function. I was giving my books away, cases of books, and Kimora was signing them, and they were giving them away. I've never met Kim Porter, or at least that I know of. I probably have met her, but I don't remember. It's not something memorable.
What do you think about Kim Porter's book?
A brilliant idea, whoever wrote it. Brilliant idea. You got yourself in the conversation. Everybody's looking for a way in the door. Like, I literally had an interaction with Sean Combs, numerous interactions. Like, I was doing business with him. I told you the story. Everybody else hasn't. You were either at a party, you hadn't been around him a long period of time. There are some people that valid had spent quality time around him, but people that are mutual friends, but they're not SAs. They're not, there are people with good relationships with Diddy, like business relationships, people that I've met since my book came out. Well, I never had any. I'm sorry that happened to you, but I never had any bad experience with him. I met another guy last week. Oh, I'm a Diddy fan. I don't care what he did. That's their problem. Like, there's some real tick tick booms out there. You know what I mean? But how was it kept hidden for so long? It was something. You're holding it on your shoulders. You're trying to figure it out. And then December, I says, you know what? This is my window. I'm going to tell my story, and I'm not going to be afraid. And then he got arrested. That's when I really was happy. Him being locked up is the best thing ever. We feel so. And then when he lost the bail hearing, oh, it felt so good. It felt so good. It felt good. And I hate that I feel good about another man, a black man, any man being locked up. But oh my God, it felt so good. Actually, me and my lady, we were drinking and celebrating that night. It was a celebration. We were playing music loud and dancing. Diddy's locked up. Diddy's never getting out. Diddy's locked. So I mean, it's just like we were so happy because he's never leaving prison. I mean, I need y'all to be clear. He's not winning his case. There's too many negatives. There's too much evidence, and we don't know what's on the video. We only know what we've heard in the press. We don't know what's on the video. The video incriminates him, and now the feds got the video. Do you understand? They got the phones, the video. They can use AI. They can draw all the parallels to sort of account for this guy's lifestyle. And once the flag hits red and it says, "Uh-oh, this is the red area. He did this, he did that. Oh, this, oh, you gave her a drink and now you're, oh, he's finished. There's people that have been locked up for decades for lesser crimes. Figure that one out. But this guy had nothing but time to hurt people for years. For years. He had 24 hours in a day, and that's all he wanted to do was have sex. And he didn't have willing parties because it takes time to find a willing party, to vet a willing party, and to agree with a willing party. And for that willing party to say, you know what? Okay, Diddy, I'm going to give you my sex and I'm going to go on my way. And you won't have to pay me anything, and I won't have no responsibilities. That's not how life works. People vet people out before they give themselves to that person because you're risking your life, health wise and otherwise. And so the quickest way for a man for a man full of temptation, for a man full of these natures, these wild natures, to these carnal desires, the quickest and easiest way for a man to take advantage of another person is to give them drugs, right? For, like Bill Cosby has taught us and told us on CNN, by the way, in front of Larry King, and laughed about it in your faces. So this is the easiest way to take advantage of a person and send them on their way and not have to pay them anything. You can give them a little car fare to go home, but you take advantage of them and you let them go on their way. Diddy has done that for a long, 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 long time.
You're getting asked if you think that Diddy's decision making pertaining to the East Coast West Coast beef led to the deaths of Tupac and Biggie.
So
By
it
escalating
it contributed to it, right? He contributed to it, and that's why he definitely feels that guilt. There's a guilt there. He definitely contributed to it. He definitely contributed to Tupac getting pew-pewed that night at the recording studio. He definitely was a contributor to it. Now, to what level of contribution, we don't know, but he was a contribution to it. So, as you can see from my story, Diddy is not kumbaya, right? Where I am kumbaya. What if Diddy was kumbaya throughout his life? What if he was kumbaya when he was winning these awards or making this money or doing these things on stage or making this music or in the studio or with women? What if you were kumbaya? What if you were, okay, I'm going to be a nice, my persona is bad boy, but I'm going to be a nice person behind the scenes. I'm going to be super nice and kind to people. Look, if I want sex with a woman, I'm going to ask her. I'm not going to force her. Like all of the things that make you a nice person. Like what if? But he didn't choose that route. He took the easy route, which is to put something in someone's drink, or you know what I'm saying, Shaun? So I know
Yeah.
I think he contributed, But remember, you got to remember, he already told us he's a coward. He showed us he's a coward, and that's not a coward's nature, right? To go K somebody or shoot or do these things to people. You pay somebody to do it, or you know what I mean. You like you know what I mean. He's not the person that'll do it himself. He's the person that will pay somebody. But I will say that he's grown that muscle of taking advantage of people for years. So there's no telling.
DeWitt, you've been really generous with your time. We've done well over 2 hours
Thank
now.
you.
You've
Oh
answered all the
wow.
questions. I want to thank you, and I also want to give a shout out to Pop Crime TV with Lauren Conlin. I watched your interview
Hey
on her
Lauren.
channel. I put the link in for Lauren's channel in the description box below this video, and I've put your links down there as well. I'll put it in the live chat right now.
I'm Shaun. My I write fiction, right? As Relentless Aaron with 2 A's, and so that's how you're gonna find all my videos on YouTube. Relentless Aaron. And D. Gilmore, I write nonfiction. So I've decided that those are my two names that I'm writing under. But my birth name is DeWitt Gilmore. Like Natanya Rubin, like Cassie, like Little Rod, I matter. I'm a human being with blood and bone, like you and you and you. I'm no different. I'm no more special. I have 24 hours in my day, just like the rest of you. I am humbly asking for you to give a little grace to people that have shouldered these things for years and who have been afraid of his money and his power and his wealth. I'm asking for a little grace and a little understanding and a little more humility towards people that have been through this. We want to live our lives. We want to tell our story and let the chips fall where they may. And finally, no Diddy.
Thank you for spending time with us, my friend. We wish you all the best in your endeavors. You
God bless
take
you.
care. You
Thank
take
you,
care, and I'm
Shaun.
going to close the show. Cheers. Thank
Appreciate
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Wow, what an interesting story. I mean, imagine being shot at by Diddy. If you've jumped on late and you didn't catch, I think it was about, he did the build up to the story for about 30 minutes. And then it all pops off at about 30 minutes in. And then we go into his incarceration. And yeah, it was a hell of a story. And he was really good at telling it. And he was really gave a lot of detail. So thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you for all your questions. I'm going to go over what we've got coming next. This video, if you missed Ronnie Bow last night with Beverly and Ron, it was excellent. This video will transfer you over to that one when it finishes. And then I'm back in just 2 hours with the news updates for 30 minutes. Then we've got Beverly back for 2 hours, I believe, on Jay-Z, Beyonce, Diddy, and the Club. And then we've got Lionel back for 2 hours. What a night. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Diddy, Busby, Ask Lionel Anything. So basically, I'm going to be live from 6:30 p.m. UK until 11 p.m. What's that? Another 4.5 hours. I've just done 2.5, 4.5, 5, 6, 7. This is a record. And tomorrow we are starting out at 4:30 with Julia Wandel, part 11. And she got a mind-blowing response from the UK cops on the Madeleine McCann case. It's over 10 pages long. We're going to go over it. The cops are citing this channel and this podcast, and they're dissing her and putting words into her mouth. It's disgusting. She's also met the McCanns. So we'll be talking about that encounter. I've got 90 minutes with Julia, and then Ron's got a show with Big Homie CC, with John Wedger, with Beverly, and Julia's joining that as well. So endless hours of content tonight, tomorrow night. And then on Monday, I start with Jay Dyer, who wrote the book Esoteric Hollywood. So Jay-Z, Diddy, and Hollywood Exposed. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm going to go over what all this latest Jay-Z news in about 2 hours before we bring Beverly in. And I know some of you took exception to Dewitt's opinion of Jay-Z, but we can't all sing off the same hymn sheet. We need to get different perspectives, and everyone is entitled to their own opinions on all of these different cases. And I am a neutral host who just lets the guests tell their story in the most relaxed fashion and get as many of your questions to them as possible so you can interact with them live. So I'm going to get some rest, stretch, and I'll be back in 2 hours. Hope to see some of you.